the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Success in the air raid, and I don't know. I'm not a believer in Will Rogers at all. I think you're probably right. Like, this is the needle moving the opposite direction. I don't know if Will Rogers is the reason Washington, like, he's obviously not the reason the Washington's going to be worse next year, but he's not gonna make them any better than they were going to be, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either. But I'm rooting for him. I hope it works out for him at UW. Where are we going next, Matt Green?
Let's go to Will Howard. Transfer to Ohio State. Like, Ohio State's obviously right there with Georgia in terms of the betting favorites to win the national championship next year. They're going all in on the NIL and the portal. It feels like a guy taking over a Ferrari, and he just has to keep that thing on the track. And so what do you say? Will Howard, is he a needle mover or not?
So here's the weird thing about this too. If you remove last year, the Kyle McCord blip, then I would say no question he's not a needle mover in Columbus, because we've seen just dude after dude, Fields, Stroud, what have you. Like, no, I don't think his upside's that high. So I would say no, not a needle mover. However, you have to take into account what we saw last year in Columbus, which was not a great offense and one of the weirder offensive seasons we've seen. Part of that was offensive line play. We can break that down, but like Marvin Harrison and company, it just didn't feel like an electric offense when you had so many playmakers, both in the backfield and out wide, that you were just like, man, I think we talked about in the program throughout the year where it's like, if they just had some average quarterback play, like a Will Howard last year, do they beat Michigan? Do they still find their way into the playoffs?
No, I think they were getting average QB play.
Yeah, well, I'm saying above average. If you're getting top 20 quarterback play, which is what Will Howard can be in the sport, I think Will Howard can be comfortably in that top 20 quarterback conversation. So if I look at it just through that lens, then I say yes, he's a needle mover, because I think there is no chance that he is worse than what we saw last year with Ohio State. However, part of the reason I think you bring in Will Howard is because you kind of don't want you don't want to be in a situation where you need him to be a needle mover. Does that make sense? Where you have Quinton Junkins and Travion Henderson now in the backfield, you have 5-star receivers, you have guys still out wide that he can hit and this, that, and the other. The goal, this is going to be a run the football team. This is going to be like a style where it's like, Will, just, you're a vet, like, keep this thing humming. Like Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. You're coming in here, like, we have Kyle Pitts, we have Drake London, we have Bijan Robinson. Just, like, do what we need to do. Like, we brought in Chip Kelly to be the new OC. Let Chip guide you. He's going to, like, just do what he tells you, and our offense is going to be really good and really hard to beat. So I think part of the appeal there is that he's not a needle mover, but he just, in terms of last year with McCord, yes. But in terms of, like, what we've seen from Ohio State quarterbacks in the past, and, like, he's going to elevate them and be a Heisman finalist, I don't think so. But I also just don't think that's what Ohio State wants. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he doesn't have to be Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud. I mean, even JT Barrett for that matter. Like, he just has to come in, and I mean, if he moves the needle, if he gets that back on track to what they were previously doing, I know what you're saying there. I think when sneaky, like you love to say, it's been a sneaky long time since Ohio State's won a national championship. Like 2014 for a program who's like, top consistently year in, year out, top 2 or 3 program in this sport. We're getting on a decade since this program's won a national championship. So I think the ultimate needle mover for Ohio State is winning the national championship. And I think with Will Howard, this team definitely has the ability to win a national championship, because I mean, you're talking, they have a loaded backfield with Travion Henderson and I've just blanked on it from Ole Miss.
Quinton Junkins.
They're not going to be some run first team. JJ Smith, like, this guy could come in and be like the best receiver in college football.
Well, that's the other part. Jeremiah Smith, Egbuka is back.
Back. They're going to be loaded.
Carnell Tate, 5-star guy that Tennessee was down to. So yeah.
And where did the dude transfer? The former 5-star Fleming. Did he go to Penn State?
Yeah, he's at Penn State.
Okay. And he wasn't necessarily what he was advertised to be. So I don't even know that he was that true like first round guy or anything. He was a solid receiver. But Ohio State's going to have dudes at wide receiver. And so like they're going to still be dynamic offensively. And Will Howard, he's got that, maybe not the Justin Fields running ability, but he's got the keep defenses honest with his legs type of running ability as well.
I agree. Couple more left here, Matt Green. Where do you want to go next?
You want to go leaving the team, the guy who came to Duke or the guy who left Duke? Who do you want to start with?
Let's go with the guy who left Duke.
Okay, let's go with Riley Leonard at Notre Dame now. Is he a needle mover?
He's hurt. He's going to miss, I think, a lot of spring. If I recall seeing like some Riley Leonard, he's beat up last year, obviously. He's not the most he's not injury free. Like he's not someone that I'm like penciling in for 16 starts, including playoff appearances for Notre Dame. That if I'm a Notre Dame fan right now, I feel great. Like you bring in CJ Carr, who's a big time recruit. Like you're excited about him potentially next year. But I think initially my gut was yes. Like Riley Leonard is a needle mover where it's like, hey, we've seen what Notre Dame can be with like an Ian Book type and a lot of talent around them, a top 10 defense, great offensive line play, obviously, great tight end play. They should be able, there's just a high floor with Notre Dame in those type of years. However,
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.